Welcome back, everyone, for today's video. Today I'm going to be going over the last round of the September Action Chess Championship held here at Chess Zone. Now, I'm having a rough tournament, only 0.5 out of 3, and I desperately need a win to regain my self-confidence and boost my morale. And for the last round, I was paired against Levon Ayrapetyan. That might sound familiar to you guys because I have played Levon in a Tuesday rated game, and we actually drew. So, I'm going to scroll down and flip the board. I forgot to do that before the recap. So, alright, there we go. So Levon and I drew in a Tuesday rated game. I said he was very underrated, but in this tournament, we're both doing pretty poorly. So we each have the same score, and this, for me, I need to end on a good note. So, and spoiler, this is the game I actually win because, as I mentioned in the first recap, I had a score of 1.5 out of 4. So, doing the math, half out of 3, obviously need 1 point. And yeah, so we'll take a look at how exactly I won this game. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into the action. So, Levon starts the game with e4. I reply with e5, as always. Knight f3. And in the Tuesday rated game, I played knight f6 going into the Petrov defense, and I instead mix it up with knight c6, going a little bit off track here with my openings. And here, Levon actually played my opening. I like the Scotch, and he also likes the Scotch, so he played d4, and I was wondering if he would, again, do my signature Scotch gambit prep with bishop to c4, but instead Levon just recaptured, and we have no Scotch gambit, we just have a normal Scotch game. Perfectly fine. We were all blitzing out these moves. We both know our Scotch theory. After bishop c5, let's see, white usually takes the knight on c6, in which case you can either just take it back right away, or you can throw in this move, which I like, queen f6, called the intermezzo variation, where you threaten checkmate on f2 first, and then you take the knight with the queen so you don't damage your pawn structure. But Levon went back to b3. I believe this is called the Potter variation. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's called the Potter variation. And I know the move is to go bishop e6 to keep the bishop on the long diagonal. Levon played knight c3. I go knight f6, queen e2. That looked a little bit weird, but apparently it's fine. Levon is just trying to prepare long castling. So yeah, after queen to e2, I castle myself. He plays the move bishop to e3, and I mean, I can do a lot of things. I can go d5, I can take the bishop, I can play something else. I play queen e7, and my idea is to, number one, attack the pawn on e4. Number two, maybe to just play d6 and then connect my rooks. So just sort of an improving move. So queen e7. Levon played the move f3 here, and while he is defending the pawn, right, I could sense that I already had a small edge building up, or at least that his edge was going down. The reason for that is because after bishop takes and queen takes, I noticed that the relationship with the queens on the e-file, the queen on e3 is unprotected, and so the e4 pawn was pinned, so I played the move d5 to take advantage of that. And yeah, Levon is playing really quickly here, 59 minutes left, only used 1 minute of time. I had also playing fairly quickly, having 57 minutes at this point. So after d5, let's see. I was expecting something like long castle. But instead Levon takes a bit of time here. And Levon, tell me in the comments if you're watching why you played this move. I'm kind of curious to know what your idea was. You played the move e5 here, Levon, and that's just a clean pawn hang. Like, I don't know what you were calculating after I take the pawn. I really don't. So I don't know what e5 does at all. It's just simply a bad move. And I go ahead and win the pawn with queen takes e5. And I'm trading queens too, so it's already, I'm going to have a pawn up in the endgame, and that's good. So Levon traded, and then he played long castles, which I expected. And he's also attacking my d5 pawn, which I defend with c6. Here, Levon just develops with bishop to e2. I play rook e8, rook h to e1, bishop e6. And, okay, I got a little bit scared, but I thought maybe he had some, like, weird bishop a6 things just to, double the pawns or something like that. But if bishop a6 was a thing, I would just have to go back, and then we would, repeat. So, going back, bishop e6, he played the move knight c5. Yeah, bishop e6 was kind of a waste of time because while I could play b6, I mean, what if the knight just hopped in here and was threatening a fork? I didn't really want to allow that for no reason. So, yeah, I have to move my bishop again to c8. And maybe for fun, Levon would have went back to b3, and I would have, faked him out going for a draw and then ended up not going for a draw. I don't know, but Levon did not go back to b3. He instead went knight to d3, and I'm more than happy to take his knight here, because more trades, the easier this up a pawn endgame is going to be for me. And let's see. At this point, Levon had 49 minutes. I had 52 minutes. He slowed down a little bit because he needs to play precisely to try to hold this endgame down a pawn. So after bishop takes d3, I just develop with bishop d7, knight e2, rook e7. I'm trying to bring my other rook over. Knight d4. And this point is where the engine goes nuts. Apparently, it was only minus like 1.6, 1.7, and now it went all the way to -3. And my next move isn't bad. It still keeps the advantage for black, but what could have been almost lights out for white is just trading rooks. And what I missed here is that after the move c5 for black, this is crazy. Wherever this knight goes, you're basically winning a piece. So let's say you go knight here. Suddenly your bishop is trapped. Oh no. Your bishop on d3 is trapped. This came out of nowhere. So let's say you don't go to e2. Let's say you go to like f5. Well, still c4. And your bishop has to move, and then you take the knight. It's crazy that wherever your knight goes, here's another fork. c4 is always available in the position. So I could have just won a piece in that variation. Well, I was sort of playing on autopilot because I'm just playing principled and was planning to bring my other rook over, trade when you're ahead. I wasn't trying to look for tactics to win a piece because I was expecting the end game to just be a slow, gradual process and then eventually to grind white out with only pawns. So I wasn't really focused on like winning a piece or finding a tactic. So that's why rook e8 is a miss. Going back to that c4 idea. And it reoccurred here after king to d2. After I trade all the rooks off, c5 still exists because again, wherever the knight goes, you have c4 no matter what, and you're winning a piece. I'm playing pretty quickly. I play king f8, knight f5. I go ahead and snap that knight off, and then I go king e7, king e2, king d6, c3, c5, king e3. I go ahead and go a5 because I was trying to stop b4. Like, let's say I go b5. I was like sort of scared that white would go here. And if I take, for instance, then like I have like an isolated D pawn. I didn't really want to split my pawns up and allow any sort of chances for a draw. So I play A5 to prevent that. Levon plays bishop D3 to stop B5. I go H6, so that way the knight isn't tied to defending the H pawn and it can do some other tasks. Okay, and I had about a 5-minute time advantage. And after the move A3, I go knight to D7, B4. We make a quick pawn trade. I go ahead and play B6. That way, if white traded on C5, I would take with the pawn and have like connected pawns. And after the move F4 to prevent knight E5. Actually, the draw offer happened on A takes B4. Sorry, I thought it happened here. Yeah. Anyway, a move ago, Levon offered me a draw, and I declined because, hey, I'm having a bad tournament already. I don't want to lose even more rating. In fact, I was even contemplating like not playing the last game, just try to save as much rating as possible. But I'm like, I have nothing more to lose anyway, so I might as well play it, right? And it's a good thing I did because again I won, so good decision on my part. Anyway, back to the game. After F4, I play the move knight B8 to try to go knight C6, and Levon just plays B5 to not let that happen. I'm like, okay, fair point. I'll go back. And after C4 by Levon, I was tempted to play D4 just to get a protected passer, just to have the connect 3. But by doing so, the white squares are a little bit weak, and who knows, maybe the king could like sneak into via the E4, D5, C6 diagonal and create counterplay. I don't know. I instead play the move knight F6 to threaten a fork on G4, and after king F3, he offered me a draw again, and I again said no for obvious reasons. And I'm just shuffling king E6. I didn't really find a clear play on G4, and then I realized my plan. I go knight D8, and I'm trying to go to D6, where I will force a pawn trade, and then my king will get in. So here, I'll just illustrate that. After king E3, knight D6, quick pawn trade, H4, C4, I'm advancing my passed pawn. I won the second pawn, and after H5, knight D6, G5. Okay, Levon is trying to be a little bit tricky here, trying to go for the pawn breakthrough. Like if I take, for instance, it's the advantage has slipped here, and the only move to be winning is king E5. Let's say you go H6, you just take, and then go king F. Oh, not even king F6. Yeah, this is how slippery this is. Like if you risk your advantage too much, you have to go F5 here. Okay. So yeah, Levon is trying for tricks, but I don't allow that. I just play B5. And he played F5 here, and let's say I take, then he has the move F6. If I take, I'm losing because that lone pawn is gonna promote. So this is very scary. I have to go knight E8, F takes, knight, and I can't even take back. I have to go knight F6 here, and then all of a sudden like H6 ponders a fork. But the point is that you're having to babysit those two white pawns, and you didn't have to allow that at all. But yeah, Levon is trying for me to mess up, but I don't let that happen. I play F6, no breakthroughs allowed, not in my house, not in my backyard. King F4, and that just hangs another pawn. I'm up 3 pawns now. It's pretty much hopeless here. King G4, King E5, and in this position, on move 46, Levon resigned the game, and I finally get a win in this tournament. So that was a very pleasant way to end the tournament. Still didn't go my way overall. I'm definitely going to lose a ton of rating. In fact, I'll link the results in the comments section. So, yeah, again, this was a pitfall for me. And I'm hoping to have a recovery tournament to get back to 1800. Because I'm definitely going to drop below that. And the tournament I'm thinking of doing is the Thad Rogers State Tournament in October. I'll link that in the description of the video as well, so you guys can take a look at that. And that'll be a really long time control, like 90 minutes with like a 30-second increment or something crazy. So hopefully that will be a resurgence, get the rating back. And yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and say thank you guys for watching. If you got something out of this video, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button below. Leave a like. Again, leave a comment. And have a great rest of your day. Bye.